Hey everybody, and welcome to another, well, it's not really an episode of something, but it's a kind of reaction, information dump sort of video about the new Menaphos, not release, but teasers and information dump and just lots of cool stuff. There's also some sort of ARG that's going on that we're going to be discussing. I am here not with Grandis, but with good old Captain Lime. Say hi.
Yep, I'm ready.
There we go. Hi.
What's
There.
going on?
Awesome.
Sorry, you just kind of cut off there, and I was like,
Oh, my
well,
bad. Sorry. um,
shit.
so first things first, there is a little teaser video featuring the Pharaoh. I'm going to insert it here on your screen and let it play out, and then we'll pick back up from there.
Am I not a just ruler? Has this great golden city not prospered under my reign? Then why do vagrants bay at my walls? Thieves pry at my coffers, and assassins hound my step. Soon, they will remember who rules Menaphos.
Alright, so that was the teaser trailer. It doesn't show us a ton, but we get a cool bit of voiceover about the Pharaoh kind of speaking to us, talking about how badass he is. Meanwhile, we get these creepy flashes of like Amascut and the corrupted god aspects, as well as
Yeah,
kind of the inner
we
thoughts of the
finally get
people
our,
around him.
we finally get our first look at Het here.
Yeah, we actually have a second look at Het. I don't know if you saw that. If you go to the images page in the Menaphos hub, you can actually see an image of Het, which is pretty flippin' cool. Actually, oh, it's up at the top of the page. The Menaphos thing, that silver dude, that's Het.
Yeah, it's on. Yep.
Yep, that's
Uh,
that's him there. So
pretty,
that's really exciting. But really, they just introduced a ton of content here. So first things first, we're gonna kind of pour over the trailer here. So we got the big, fat, fully armored Pharaoh here with
not
Jabari
really
next to him.
more outfitted.
Yeah, I mean, there's like golden pieces of armor there, like on his arms and on his tummy and on his legs.
His vast belly.
His very large stomach, I might add. Yeah, it's huge.
Right.
This dude is chunky.
My first thought was that it completely covers him, and I was
Yeah.
thinking that this could be so that pharaohs die, that like you give the illusion of continuity. But
I
the
would
more I think,
agree, but we've discovered that his the predecessor pharaoh was a woman.
yes, his mother,
Yeah.
who was a very strict, cruel pharaoh, and I suspect that she took the place of the pharaoh of around 60 years ago. That's referenced in Do No Evil.
Yes, exactly. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. That was a very interesting little bit of lore drop there. Didn't expect that.
That doesn't happen in the trailer. That happens in the live stream, and
Yep,
Fang should really put a link to that in the description
I
to look up.
absolutely will. Let's see, what else other important info do we need? Just
Oh,
about yes. We'll get to that in just a second. So I guess we'll kind of let's talk about
yeah.
the stuff that pops up during this trailer as well. So the first image we see has a close up on the Pharaoh and a bit of Jabari poking in, and the Pharaoh's face is covered in this green stuff as well as part of his arm. But then secondarily, also part of his stomach for some reason. I don't really know why. But more
Well, I
interestingly to
mean,
me
he's
is
so big.
yeah, I guess. But
Stomach armor on his belly.
Jabari's eyes are both covered. Well, really one. But then there's also like these shackles around his wrist. In the Pharaoh's case, it looked like there's a bunch of holes in his mask, and it's like weaving in and out of his head, which is really, really creepy looking.
I think I know what causes the mark in his belly. I think that might be a stab wound.
Oh, there's a thought. I like that. The
Like
net.
that would
Oh, go ahead.
that would give it a very Caesarean aspect.
Yeah, yeah. And the more I look at it, yeah, it's just like it's kind of gaping through that little bit of his stomach, and then seems to like weave up under his armor to his face.
Also,
Next,
why he was gashed at his head as well.
yeah, as we back up more, there's these two also hella chunky boys next to him. And in the normal image, they're just kind of standing there with their hands tucked away. But then when it flashes to the green and shows us, Jabari and the Pharaoh in their corrupted forms as well, they're both holding these glowing green knives, as if they're just ready to stab the Emperor or the Pharaoh at any moment.
Looks like there's someone. Yeah. Oh, and another thing I forgot to note about the Emperor.
Yeah.
Is that if you look at his headdress, you can kind of see both Timikin's symbol and also like the inverted Ankh.
Yeah. It makes sense that he has Tumikin's symbol on his head as well, as we know he's a follower of Tumikin. Just a quiet, gloating moment here. I told you! I told you they retconned that fussy! I told you!
Wait, what? They retconned it?
No, they retconned that he was a Het follower. He was insisting to me that they had not retconned it and wouldn't let me edit the wiki page for a while.
I don't think it was ever said that he was a Het follower.
There apparently was a line of dialogue in, I believe it was Contact at one point, that is no longer in-game.
Nice.
But, I knew I was right about that!
I thought that was obvious. Like,
No, it was...
The Pharaoh...
There is no reference to a Pharaoh following Het anymore. Oh, that's right. It used to be a line of dialogue on Jex, and it is not anymore. That's what it was. Because we could go back and check it. So it's no longer in there. But when you could talk to him about Het, it used to say that the Pharaoh was a follower, but it doesn't anymore. So that's... I wonder why they changed that. But they changed that a while ago, like back with the Ozan duology. Let's see... the third image is my personal hype image. It's got all four of the god aspects, Krondys, Etmekin, Scabrous, and Het. Also giving us our first proper look at Het, I might add. And they've all got the green stuff all over them, like, destroying them.
Atmekin's looks like a tear. Well,
Yeah.
a bunch of them look like they're crying. We also get our first real look at...
Scabrous. And Krondys and Het. Really all of them except for Etmekin.
It's very cool.
I absolutely agree.
On the bottom there, we gotta point it out.
Yep.
Is the first part of our ARG.
Yep, we'll be discussing that in more detail, but this image is in the Menaphite script and leads you on the first bit of the ARG that we'll be walking you through. Finally, though, we're going to pop into the last image. As the assassins are leaping at the Pharaoh, somebody out of view fires an arrow, it spirals towards the Pharaoh, and then this green burst of Amascut's face, leaps up at you. And then the trailer ends. It's pretty sick. So we actually, I would argue, got a lot of information here. So Amascut has woven her way into all of the elite. She controls the Pharaoh. Jabari is in her grip. All of his servants are ready to backstab him at any moment because of Amascut. But she is protecting him. So that was fascinating to me.
I think what's going on is that directly control the Pharaoh, but she controls everyone around him, and she makes it very clear that he is only still alive because of her. Because you can look at history, and you can see that the Pharaoh of 2 times ago was killed because
by his mother. Yeah,
Amascut's will. That's not very long ago. That's like what, 2 generations ago?
Yeah, within the past 40 years.
60 years.
60, yeah, sorry.
The oldest members of society would still... a very reformist pharaoh.
Yeah.
And
by the way, you broke off a little bit there. Don't know if that was a voice thing, but... Yeah.
My apologies.
No worries.
The oldest members of society would remember this pharaoh. And, there would be this... pharaoh that, that they lost with the current pharaoh's mother.
Yeah.
And, I can very well see the current pharaoh going, I don't want to be my mother. I want to be more like that guy that we lost all those times ago. I want to be remembered as the good pharaoh, the good leader, the one that brought Menaphos back to glory. And
that absolutely seems to be what his goals started as my mother was cruel and foul, and now I'm going to fix things. But then he's changed as of late. According to the teaser here, it says, is it simply the heavy burden of his rule or something more? And that's kind of what leads into the teaser trailer.
I think what's happening here is that it's another one of those commentaries on the effects that you don't want to make.
Yeah, like just the effects of power and ruling or something more.
Might have tried to fight Amascut back then, but Amascut made it very clear. Not you, Amascut. You're a very nice person.
Thank you.
But the in-game Amascut made it very clear. No, you cannot do this. I am in control here. And now this is what I imagine. This is pure speculation. He's just sitting back and, bending to the will, trying to think of a way out of this, but he can't really do it.
And let's not forget too, she's destroying the city. One of the few pieces of teaser we know is that the tombs that are being opened up, the shifting tombs, are because she's blowing stuff up and revealing these tombs. So she's controlling him, controlling all the people around him, and attacking his city all at once.
Yes.
This is a full-on assault.
It must be nightmarish to watch your city under your control being torn apart like that.
And you're completely helpless.
Do anything about it, and knowing that you're complicit in it.
Yeah.
Like, you're allowing this to happen.
It's
like
there's a lot to take in on this.
And just like stepping back, there's all sorts of these plots going on in Menaphos, and I can't help but wonder if the Pharaoh, or if he's trying to do that as a way of subverting Amascut and trying to convince her that this is a way to help her when really it's subverting her. It's a very interesting thing.
I absolutely agree. Do you want to move on to the story and the requirement stuff? All right, we'll dive into that. So the first kind of sub-page that it takes you to is called Story and Requirements. And it opens up with some really fancy images, but it tells us that Menaphos is the jewel of the desert. Dominating the skyline of the Caridian Desert, Menaphos stands alone, a bastion of culture and civilization in a land laid barren by the conflicts of millennia past. Long closed to the outside world, the Golden City begs to be explored. Why has it been isolated for so long? What treasures do its ancient tombs hold, and what secrets, what horrors lurk in the depths? With the opening of its gates, a new chapter begins in the story of this ancient land. Read on to find out more, and be there on June 5th as history is made. So we get in this in June 5th. This is a month and change away. Which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, this is very close to release date. And,
yeah.
I mean, this is the day we've been waiting for such a long time.
Mm-hmm. What's crazy, too, is they are still working on adding things. They're still talking about adding achievements. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with that. Stuff is still happening.
And we've only gotten the preliminary info on this. This is the first live stream. This, today, April 25th, that was when all this stuff dropped.
Yeah, and we've still got numerous pages. We've got 3 more... story and requirement pages. We've got 7 more character pages. We've got a lot of stuff to pay attention to still, plus the ARG that we're looking at, and any kind of pre-event that they want to put in game.
They've already started a little bit of the pre-event with the ARG.
Yeah, exactly. 3 days ago, me and a friend from the wiki noticed that in the cache there was the addition of a new sundial. And then, lo and behold, it popped up today, so we're well into teaser season. Anyway, the entrance to Menaphos. Before we go into this, I'm going to preface this with, I am disappointed by this. But,
me too.
Entering Menaphos only requires the quest Stolen Hearts, Diamond in the Rough, and a new quest called Jack of Spades. That's it.
Only this far.
Yeah. As far as we know. But
and then there are a bunch of
from our understanding, while you can get in with those requirements, there's a lot of things that unlock with other requirements. So Iclarin's Little Helper, 85 Slayer, and then 50 in Agility, Construction, Crafting, Divination, Dungeoneering, Prayer, Runecrafting, and Thieving will unlock other things.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. This can change. This is all very subject to change. We're still a while out. But Ictharin's Little Helper is a recommended requirement, and honestly, there are, like, the Desert Quest series, it didn't get requirements until dealing with Scabrous.
Yeah.
And, like...
This is a big part of why I'm concerned, because I think Contact, its story, needs to be required for this. And it's not like that adds a bunch of requirements, it asks you to do 2 more quests.
It's literally just do Contact, and then you'll have the recommended requirement, and there are no other requirements besides Contact. Because Contact doesn't require anything except Ictharin's Little Helper, which also doesn't require anything.
Except for Diamond in the Rough, Stolen Hearts, Gertrude's Cat, and Restless Ghost. So, all adding Contact would add 4 quests to the required quest list, which is nothing. They're all novice to master quests, but they have no skill requirements.
Exactly. And when you've got a situation where Prifddinas is,
75s, yeah.
11 quests, 75's requirement, and it's still the most busy place in the entire game. I don't see why it's, like, if it remains this way, I don't see the logic behind that.
I completely agree there. I think that, like, and it's not like it's asking a lot to add Contact. Like we said, 4 quests. It adds 4 quests that are fairly easy, have no level requirements, and all they'll do is give you more information about the story and make it all make sense.
However, I will like to point out that we don't know what Jagex is planning to do with all of this.
Like, yeah, and we don't know what Jack of Spades is going to drop in, like, lore-wise either.
It could be very reasonable what they're trying to do. Like, the quest might be that you are dropped in Menaphos, but you're not allowed to see anything.
Yeah, or maybe you're dropped just into the slave district and you can't leave.
Yeah, something like that. But I feel like, a North Korea situation where you come in and the guards only let you see the nice parts of Menaphos, and saying there's nothing bad going on here, there's nothing wrong going on here. Menaphos is a wonderful place. You should come try it.
And they escort you everywhere too, so it's not like you can get the information that Misa wants to give you.
And everyone that you see on the way is smiling, and all the stores are fully stocked, and they're all low prices and all sorts of that stuff like that.
Definitely.
In that case, I would say that it makes a lot of sense why Contact is not required, because... Yeah. And say, like, the Jack of Spades, who I'm not convinced is... Well, we haven't gotten to that part.
We'll talk about that, yeah.
It would make sense if we, like, secretly met with Jack of Spades.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not, like, giving up on it yet, but I'm just kind of putting out that, hey, Contact should probably be required. Let's talk about this thing. So if they can reassure me that this is okay and it's not going to cause problems, great. I'm for it. But until then, give me some context.
Yeah, we have concerns, but there are ways that this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and while I'm number one proponent of I trust Rowley, and I know he's a very major part of this expansion, I said the same thing about Osborne, Janae, and Stu when it came to Prifddinas, and even then I was still like, we still need a quest for this, and they gave us one. So, it helps to kind of voice our concerns, I think, even if not everybody agrees with us, which, is very evident from the very contentious Reddit thread that I saw posted, but it makes sense to at least speak up and, like, toss out some feelers of, like, hey, what's going on here? Can we chat about this?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, we trust these JMods. They are, like, Rowley, he always does good work. I have complete faith in him. We're just voicing our concerns, saying, hey, let's take a look at this. Are you guys sure about this? In, like, a non-condescending way.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's kind of our thoughts on the requirement, I guess. But, let's mosey on to the next topic, which is the Shifting Tombs. This is going to be one of the next big reveals, is not revealed yet. However, we do have a little bit of information about it. We know that the idea is this is like dangerous skilling. You delve into these collapsing tombs and have to use your abilities as quickly as possible to gather items and gain experience before the thing collapses on your head. This was part of what was revealed at RuneFest, and I'm excited to see how this plays and what the reveal is going to tell us.
Wait, was it RuneFest or the Summers? Oh, wait, yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was RuneFest. Additionally, we've got the 120 Slayer edition. That is on there.
I'm not as happy as this part, and...
I'm less worried about it now than I was before, I can say that much.
Wait, Can you explain why?
So we've already got two sets of mobs that are going in game around that level, so I'm not worried about a lack of mobs now. So that's at least a plus. Additionally, with some extra devs being added onto it according to days, I'm less worried about it feeling, kind of useless or underdeveloped. So I'm feeling a little better about things. I'm still very, very, hesitant. I don't.
Like, my concerns were never that. My concerns were purely economical because, despite the fact that, if it's like loaded, every level has its own Slayer monster.
Yeah.
You still have the option to go back and do all those old Slayer monsters that are completely overpowered in their jobs. That can give you like 10 mil an hour. I don't even know, like absurd amounts of cash, and that's what scares me. It's not the new Slayer monsters; it's the old ones. And
I do agree with that. That does concern me, and that's something that they mentioned they wanted to work on, but I don't think it's coming with 120 Slayer, which of course leaves me sitting here going, well, great.
Like, it needs to come either before 120 Slayer or with 120 Slayer, because every time, this much Slayer is encouraged. Like, even with 120, virtual levels, it's still encouraging a lot of just random crap being dumped into the economy, and that leads to, skillers getting shafted. And I'm very passionate about this. And yeah, sorry, I'm ranting.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about, or at least I have talked about this a lot in the past as well. I made a whole video about this, so I will link that somewhere, probably on screen, if I can still do that. I don't know how end cards work, really. I need to look into that. But it'll be linked somewhere, don't worry. Another interesting thing is in the stream, they seemed to say that the Slayer dungeon will be in Sophonem, which means South Sophonem?
That makes a lot of sense, because Sophanum is the city of the dead. It's a necropolis.
Exactly. It also is nice to me that it isn't the Pharaoh's Palace anymore that is the Slayer dungeon, now that we've seen him as a more active character in the trailer.
Yeah, it seems like, this will also lead to a Sophanum graphical update. And...
just to add on to that, we actually have confirmation that almost the entirety of the desert is getting at least some form of touch-up.
Yes! Yes!
So we're getting a lot, which has me, beyond hyped.
Like, my face right now is the O face, like the happy O face.
Whoop, just bumped my mic.
It's
Whoops.
the lime, well, it's not the lime face, because that is a lime face of...
But yeah, it says graphical improvements to the desert and nearby areas. So we're going to get a lot of good stuff. That hopefully means that Sophonem is getting its full graphical update as well, which is also excellent.
Like, I'm very happy about this. Like, I didn't know about this before, and it's just...
yeah.
So nice. Like, there was that discussion we had the other day about, like... in the future, Menaphos kind of swallowing Sophanum, like...
Yeah. Gorgeous-looking city, 2005 graphics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
It's very nice. I'm very happy about that. But, like, I love that South Sophanum will get a Slayer dungeon, because...
Yeah. It'll get use.
That's a great way to bring life back to the city.
Also, keep in mind that that'll really... I mean, that's a part that requires players to have done Iclarin's Little Helper. Additionally, keep in mind that players will then have needed to completed, I believe, contact to get access to the bank chest.
This is very nice.
So that's good encouragement to keep players using that content. Let's see, what else do we have here? Factions is the last reveal that's coming with this story side of or the core stuff reveals. And when it comes to factions, we know that there are 4 of them. There is there's the hang on, I had it.
With the 4 districts?
Yeah, it's with the 4 districts. So they're related to, let's see, there's the workers, the merchants, the sailors, and the Imperials.
Can you say that last one again?
The Imperials.
that basically means the army, doesn't it?
Yeah, probably the nobles, really. So that means the workers are in the slave district, the sailors are in the ports district, the merchants are in the merchant district, and lo and behold, the Imperials are in the Imperial district. Because we know those are the 4 districts of Menaphos.
Yes, that's been previously established. But what hasn't been... Wait, where's the library again?
The library is right in the center. So it's not in any of the specific districts.
All right.
So yeah, that's pretty great. Which, speaking of the library, they're saying we're getting a ton of lore through the player-submitted entries spread across multiple books. There will be a ton of examine messages as well, or everywhere. So that's further great. Sorry, there were some technical difficulties here. Apologies for the brief cut. Audio will resume in 3, 2, 1. Where were we? All right. There was a brief.
I just said something about my writing.
Okay. Yeah, because you said you submitted 7.
Yes, and I love them all, especially the joke one.
Yeah. There was a brief cut there. Sorry about that, people listening. Got interrupted briefly, so we're going to jump back into things. Lime had just mentioned he had submitted 7 whole entries. I only submitted 1 because I was lazy and only wrote 1.
I was very bored.
Yeah, but we got a lot of good stuff in. I wrote something about the Black Ibis. I'm hoping that gets in. Lime wrote something about pretty much everything. Like, if it was a thing, he wrote about it.
I didn't write about the Black Ibis.
That's true, but that was because I mentioned I was doing one. But
yeah, that was mostly the reason.
I'm hoping there's a lot of entries, which results in a lot of books.
Yeah, I hope that all of mine can make it in game. When I'm
exactly
that maybe one will get in game.
Yeah, we'll see. We know that there's going to be like a reveal about the factions, which will probably reveal information about each of the districts. However, more importantly, thanks to a translation of another part of the ARG, we know that there are, 4 leaders, 1 for each district, a commander, an admiral, a worker, and a grand vizier, who are some way complicit in the city's desolation. So that's really interesting. And we'll chat a little bit more about that when we get to the ARG section as well.
But I really want to talk about the ARG now.
I know. Let's blaze through characters here. So we already talked about the Pharaoh a bunch. We know there's going to be character bio reveals for Leela, Ozan, Osman, Jabari, and Krondis, who are all characters we at least know a decent bit about, especially the first 4. Krondis, we're going to learn more about what her current state is, which is going to be pretty interesting.
He lives in Louisiana.
Yeah, he does. But our in-game god Krondis, not our resident crocodile. But we're gonna get some information about her current state and what's going on with her. There's also character bios for something called Thrall, which appears to be just a bunch of slaves of Amascut. In the big teaser image, there's a bunch of these green guys with the lighter green veins, so they look like these zombie mind slaves.
These soulless people, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Additionally, there is the Jack of Spades character that we don't know anything about. And I have a theory that this character is actually Het. The reason I say this is because in the Menaphos picture of, everybody, there is every single character mentioned in this bio. You can see Leela, you can see Osman, you can see Ozan, you can see the Thralls, you can see the Pharaoh and Jabari and Krondis. The only character that is not visible there is the Jack of Spades. But a character that is not on the reveals list, but shows up there, is Het. The reason we know this is Het is actually from the teaser video with the corrupted people, because the guy standing there is wearing the exact same headpiece as Het. So it makes me think that because Het doesn't get a reveal page of his own, but Het is on that big banner, that Het might be the Jack of Spades.
I don't think so. In my opinion, the pictures don't line up. You don't see Het's eyepiece, and you don't see a lot of Het's features. This guy is clearly cloaked.
In the picture, but his hand actually matches Het's hand. I got really close and zoomed in, and they're essentially the same hand style.
He looks like he's got a finger missing, but yeah, in my opinion, I think he's Black Ibis.
That could work that would work just fine for me too. I would actually, in my initial suggestion for Souls of the Sand, which was a quest I suggested to like open up Menaphos, it opens with a Black Ibis escaping from Menaphos after being trapped in there and coming to Alcarid for help. So I would be totally down for Jack of Spades being an Ibis. Which, by the way, I might add, the Ibis currently do not have any lore about them, and I've written them as like a elite spy unit for Menaphos.
It doesn't make sense that Al-Kharid would have a spy ring and Menaphos would not.
Exactly. And having the Ibis be that ring, it's just like a good use of pre-existing name and lore.
But the other reason why I don't think it's Het is because I don't think Amascut's not incompetent. Like,
oh, absolutely not.
You would know where Het is. It would be hard to miss him.
Not necessarily. She doesn't know where Scabrous is. She knows he's gone, but she doesn't know where he is.
Yes, but then Jex says that, Het... Well, he says that initially he thought Het was, not that smart of a guy, but this big brute. But now he says, like, Het, he is on every spear tip of a Menaphite, on every sword. Like,
that's true.
He is the edge. So I don't think that Het would be actively fighting against Amascut. I think that he would be imprisoned by Amascut in some way.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that...
I mentioned on Twitter in response to somebody, sorry for cutting you off there,
it's not
that maybe Amascut has stolen his memories. Like, what better to take from someone who's a leader than the knowledge that he's a leader?
But he's still a leader. Like, he is this Robin Hood-esque character.
Exactly. That's what kind of makes me wonder. So that's my personal thoughts on it, though, just because it's weird that Het shows up in this banner, but doesn't show up in the character reveals, so it has me very suspicious. Like, why would you not reveal information about Het? But, yeah, that's all the information that they initially give us. So, let's dive into the ARG stuff, because this is where it gets really fun.
This is the meat and potatoes of it.
Mm-hmm. So, in that image that we mentioned earlier with the four gods, in Menaphite script at the bottom, if you translate it...
Oh, and before we go any further, we deciphered Menaphite script from, if you look at the main banner...
Oh, yeah.
It says Menaphos, and then it's got a bunch of these symbols below it. And it's not that much of a leap to see that it says the
Golden City. And that's where the translation efforts kind of leapt off, and we were able to start building the alphabet as a whole. It was very helpful of Jagex to add a sundial with all of the letters in order, too. But the text at the bottom says bit.ly/go-to-golden-path. If you type that in, you end up on a website that has a bunch of Menaphite script, again, this time, like an actual set of paragraphs here. There's several language options for those who do not speak English. And when translated, in full, it reads, The Legend of the Golden Path. The golden city of Menaphos stands today as it has for generations, resplendent, affluent, and prosperous. But beneath the surface lies corruption, decay, and destruction. The pharaoh grows richer, while the poor of nearby Sophonim rot in ditches. Menaphos' 4 districts are ruled by 4 leaders, a commander, admiral, worker, and grand vizier, each in some way complicit in the city's desolation. These 4 faction leaders hold the key to riches beyond compare. Dare you embark on the Golden Path Challenge? A once-in-a-lifetime reward awaits the winner. The code is the key. So that dropped a lot of information on us.
Yeah, it's just like, this feels like the actual starting point of the ARG. Like, before that was just, like a hook. This is actually where it begins.
Yep. Before that, it was a did you think to pause, and then did you think to translate and figure out that translation? Now, use that knowledge and apply it to this. And then this is where things get... Yeah, this is where things get even crazier. So, beyond just the translation, there's a lot of info in there, such as about how there's the leaders and Menaphos is, these people have been maybe not helping Amascut, but are in some way involved in the city's fall. But, like, we got lore out of this, but then the last line says, the code is the key. If you go and look at the source code for the page, you get 2 new pieces of information. First, there's a line that says, the path to Menaphos shines in the sun. So, I still don't know what that means yet, and we probably won't. I'm expecting it actually is referencing the sundial that we had to go in-game and find. Because, sundials shine in the sun. But I don't know if we'll get more information than that.
I think it's I think it's more literal than that. Like, if I find a picture of a sun somewhere, I'm gonna take it and then I'm gonna up the contrast.
Oh yeah, I dug through every single image just to see if there was a sun in it. However, right now my interpretation is that meant the sundial. You had to go in game and look for the sundial, and then the path to Menaphos shines in the sun like the sundial shines. However, the more important thing on line 95 is a link to an Instagram account called Admiral__W.
It's line 95 if you inspect the source of that page.
Yeah. When you go to the page's source code, that's where we got the line about the sun as well. On here, there are 2 images posted so far. A close-up of Wahi's Seidel with Iclarin in the background, but I'm assuming it's supposed to be Wahi in the foreground, that says, he is my first. Next is a picture of Atmekin that says, she is my second. That's all we have so far, but from what I'm thinking, this person is spelling out their name. W-A. And then, once we get the full name, I think we need to go in-game to the sundial and enter that name.
I'm starting to think it's actually less literal than that, and, you've got a picture of Wahi Seattle, and Ali. Like, we go with Ali. And then you go with Atmekin, and you get, something else from it. I'm not sure.
I would agree, except for the name is Admiral W, which I think was supposed to set us on the path of the name is being spelled, and Wahi is the W. So that's where I think things are going right now, and pretty much at this point, we just gotta sit back and wait until we can start making guesses at what the name actually is, because attempting to guess off of WA has not gone well for us so far. Oh, not at all. I've tried every combination of names I could think of with WA. I've tried every single desert god name. I've tried Mod Rowley's name. I've tried putting in Walter, because why not? Walter deserves to be everywhere.
Before this podcast, we actually we went on Wikipedia and babynames.com
Yep.
and we went with Persian names that begin with WA, Turkish names that begin with WA, Egyptian names that begin with WA.
We tried everything.
I even went on the Wikipedia page of ancient Egyptians, like the list of ancient Egyptians, and we found Wajmos the First, Prince Wajmos the First, and that did not work.
Yep, we just, like I said, we tried everything, so we're going to have to wait for now, and I'm hoping that, well, it goes quickly, because, I'm impatient, and I'm really excited to check it out. Because this is really cool, and I'm really eager to find out what this once-in-a-lifetime reward is.
I want to get to the next step.
I know, I need more information. So you guys can check this out yourself, pretty much just following exactly what we were talking about. Yeah, go check out that Instagram account, follow it, and keep an eye on it, because it is official, it's real, and I'm really excited to see what's going on.
Alright, so that's the ARG.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much everything we have to discuss right now. I, at the very least, will definitely be doing a follow-up when we have more information to talk about, both with the ARG and with further Menaphos reveals. So stay tuned for that. And hopefully I'll be able to have Lime along with me again as well. But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff today, and it has made me more excited than ever for Menaphos, and I can't wait to see what happens.
And in the coming weeks, there will be 3 more live streams for the path to Menaphos.
Which is awesome.
Yep, I suspect that when the next one hits, we'll get who Admiral W is, Admiral Wajmos, as I'm now going to call him.
Yeah.
Until we are contradicted, his name will be Admiral Wajmos.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. It's not his name because we've tried it, but it's our personal favorite one so far.
There is
Go for it.
The pub competition because Menaphos.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we get a confirmed pub in Menaphos.
Which is like the first pub we're getting in a new area in years.
It's pretty freaking exciting because Priftanos didn't have one. Stu and Osborne and John A and all of you guys.
Elves are boring. They don't drink. I'm drinking right now.
Oh man, it's gonna be great. All right, I'm gonna edit this clip in somewhere else. We'll figure it out. Probably like right before the end. Oh, the Ark had a bar.
Well, we can't drink at it.
Yeah, but it does have a bar. But unfortunately, we can't get into the Admiral Ark bar.
But yeah, the competition is going to be to name the bar, and I've got many. We've all got many suggestions. A lot of them are Aladdin references. So
yep. I need to come up with a good one and submit it, but we'll see.
I've got Handsome Ababa's bar.
I like that.
I've also got the Boss, the King, and the Shah.
Oh, that one's even better. Now, see, I wish they'd told us what district it was going to be in. That might have helped too.
Yeah, that would have made a big difference because, like, if it's a sailor's bar, it would be something lewd.
Yeah.
I had the Crock and Bowls.
That's amazing. I really like that one.
Yeah. If it was like an upper class bar, I would do like the Boss, the King, and the Shah.
Yeah, like something classy. Oh man.
Definitely not the Crock and Bowls.
That's my new favorite entry. All right, we're gonna.
There was one other one I liked. Cyrus Coy. No, not Cyrus Coy. It's Cyrus's House of Camels and Cuisine.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I'm excited to see what the end result is, and I hope they give us like what their short list was, because I'd love to see some of these submissions.
It'd be great.
All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up here then, I guess. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And I hope this rounded up some cool information that you didn't know and now want to know more about. If you find anything that I've missed in here, please let me know in the comments. I would love to, have missed some stuff that I get to dig into next. I'm really excited because it's been a while since we've had a really fun, ARG or lore mystery or something, and the last time was really the Gobi event and the strange glowing orb. So.
Oh, I was gonna say Ketsi, but yeah, the last one was Gobi.
Yep. So I'm really excited, and I'm more than ready for more. So I'm gonna be keeping my eyes peeled on an Instagram account and hope something awesome happens. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. I've been Amascut here with Captain Lime, and if you enjoyed this, hit us up with a like. If you want to hear more, please feel free to subscribe. If not, no pressure, obviously. And yeah, catch you next time.